Italian football has fallen to its lowest point once again. A nation with 4 FIFA World Cup titles has once again failed to appear at the 2026 World Cup, marking their 3rd consecutive absence after 2018 and 2022. A reality that feels almost impossible for a team as big as the Italy national football team. This time, the pain came from a heartbreaking defeat against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Not just an elimination, but a complete collapse under pressure in a match they were expected to control on paper. On the sidelines, Gennaro Gattuso couldn't hold back his tears. It wasn't just the pain of defeat, but the sorrow of a legend who felt he had failed to uphold his nation's pride. This failure immediately triggered a wave of heavy criticism. Legend Alessandro Del Piero even called it the greatest disgrace in the history of Italian football. And perhaps, for the first time in a long time, the world is truly beginning to doubt Italy. This is not just a failure to qualify. This is a sign that something within Italian football is fundamentally broken. Fragile mentality in crucial moments. Italy's failure didn't begin at the final whistle, but long before that. When the draw paired them with Bosnia and Herzegovina in the playoffs, there was a sense of overconfidence within the squad, a belief that they would get through this match with relative ease. Some internal reactions even suggested they were already one step closer to the world stage. But football is never played on paper. As the match kicked off, the stadium atmosphere turned into real pressure. The passionate home support, aggressive physical play, and high intensity immediately made it difficult for Italy to develop their game. Things got worse when Alessandro Bastoni received a red card. That moment became the turning point. The structure collapsed, focus disappeared, and confidence turned into panic. Italy were forced to defend, forced into reactive play, and eventually pushed into a penalty shootout, a stage determined more by mentality than technique. And that's where everything fell apart. This defeat wasn't just about tactics. It reflected a mentality that was not ready to handle high pressure, from overconfidence to destructive nervousness. Total failure in player regeneration. However, looking deeper, Italy's problem goes far beyond a single match. The biggest issue lies in player regeneration. For years, the Italian Football Federation has failed to build a healthy generational transition. The national team still relies heavily on players who are past their peak years. Names like Matteo Politano, Brian Cristante, and Leonardo Spinazzola remain key figures. They are experienced, but they are not the future. Meanwhile, young talents like Francesco Pio Esposito are not given enough opportunities. Despite showing promise at club level, they often sit on the bench when representing the national team. This creates a vicious cycle. Without trust, young players don't develop. Without development, they're not ready, and because they're not ready, they continue to be overlooked. As a result, Italy keeps relying on the older generation, leading to stagnation and gradual decline in quality. Club system that blocks local talent. The regeneration problem is closely tied to the domestic league, especially Serie A. Italian clubs today tend to rely on foreign players as quick solutions. In the short term, this strategy may improve results, but in the long term, it is highly damaging. Local young players lose the chance to play at the highest level. They miss out on the experience needed to grow into world-class players. Compare this to Spain, where clubs have a strong philosophy of developing young talent. They are willing to give opportunities, even in big matches. The result is clear: smooth regeneration and a constant flow of new talent into the national team. Italy has lost that balance. They focus too much on short-term success and forget long-term investment. and when the national team needs quality players, the options are limited. Loss of identity and creativity. In the past, Italy had a very clear football identity. They were known for producing world-class playmakers, creative number 10s who could change a game in a single moment. Names like Roberto Baggio, Francesco Totti, and Alessandro Del Piero symbolized that golden era. But today, that identity has almost disappeared. Italy no longer has players with that kind of character. There are no true playmakers who can control the game, create chances from tight spaces, or produce magical moments. The current generation is often described as solid, but not special. Without creativity, Italy's play becomes predictable. Without identity, they lose direction. And in modern football, losing identity means losing your edge. Federation failure and short-term culture. Ultimately, all these problems lead back to one place, the Italian Football Federation. For years, the federation has been criticized for failing to implement meaningful reforms. Instead of building long-term systems, they often rely on short-term solutions. One example is the use of naturalized players like Matteo Retegui, or attempts to recruit diaspora talents like Niccolò Tresoldi. These are not long-term solutions. They are quick fixes to cover deeper systemic failures in player development. Additionally, there is a recurring culture of blaming coaches whenever things go wrong. Managers are frequently replaced, but without systemic change. As a result, the cycle of failure continues. Criticism from legends has been harsh. Alessandro Del Piero called it a disgrace. Angelo Di Livio highlighted the loss of creativity. Walter Zenga criticized the lack of courage in trusting young players. Even Cesc Fabregas from outside Italy pointed out the issue of club culture not supporting youth development. All these criticisms lead to one conclusion. Italy is not just losing on the pitch, they are losing within their system. Italy is a symbol of greatness in world football. 4 FIFA World Cup titles prove that they were once among the very best. But today, the reality is very different. Failing to appear in 3 consecutive World Cups is not a coincidence. It is the result of long-standing issues, from mentality to regeneration to a broken system. This is not about one match. This is not about one coach. This is a full-scale crisis. Yet, there is still hope. If Italy dares to implement total reform, rebuilding their development system, trusting young players, and restoring their football identity, a comeback is still possible. But change requires courage. And now, the question is simple. Is Italy ready to change, or will they remain trapped in this cycle of failure? What do you think is the biggest reason behind Italy's current collapse? Player mentality, club policies, or federation failure? Drop your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth football content.